Are we live at both spots? Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is Phil from PDQ Merch Enterprises and the ATM Mastermind Group page, and we are going live today to talk about ATMs, and we are going to talk about hiring and working with a good team. A lot of you people are always asking, "Hey, I'm expanding my ATM business. I'm trying to hire somebody. I don't know how to do that. What do I do? How do I find somebody I can trust?" Things of that nature. We're going to talk about all that. We're going to break all that down today in today's live. A little bit of history. My name is Phil from PDQ Merch Enterprises. That's a company that we own. I also have an ATM community. Been in the ATM business for almost 25 years. Started with one ATM. Now we have just a little under 4,000 in our portfolio that we manage on a day-to-day basis. We sell ATMs, we process ATMs, we sell parts, we do repairs, everything and anything in the ATM business we do. We sell keypads. So if you want to get an ATM business, or you're in the ATM business, you're just looking for somebody reputable to buy parts for, or you need repairs, we could be your solution, one-stop shop for all your ATM needs. Without further ado, we're going to dive into the ATM business. I also have a course that teaches you from A to Z how to be successful in the ATM business. You know what? I am going to get that link because a lot of times I don't have that link. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I'm going to get that link in case anybody is interested in that. I'm going to post that right here in the chat. So that way, if you're in the ATM business or you're thinking about getting an ATM business, we also have a course. Our course teaches you everything you need to know in the ATM business, along with location agreements, vault cash agreements, service agreements, mobile ATM agreements. So if you're looking for any of those agreements and you can't find that and you want to start your ATM business, we have the course that helps you out, along with the mentorship from me, and that'll help you wherever you're at in your journey, all the way to success. All right. So I'm just going to give you my story. All right. So my story is I was in a music and games operator, which meant that we put jukeboxes, pool tables, pinballs into bars and restaurants. And then what happened is I saw an opportunity to place an ATM into a bar, convinced the bar owner to place that ATM. And that is how I got my start into the ATM business. But in that, I also had some of the challenges that you had, is how do I get somebody that would be reputable, that I could trust? We were in a cash business. I had to trust somebody with cash, just like you do with your ATM business. Now, your business is a little easier than the business that I was in at the time, because there is 100% transparency in the ATM business. There's 100% accountability in the ATM business. So you might ask, well, Phil, how do I do that? We're talking about cash. Well, what you need to do is set yourself up you got to operate the business, at least for a little while, when you're looking to add a member onto your team or start a team, so you can have trackability and accountability. Now, a lot of people, I ask them, do you reconcile your ATMs? They say no. I said, do you know how much is in your ATM? It's like, well, it's just me. I mean, if the money's there, the money's there. I don't really pay that much attention. Well, you need to start. You need to start with policies and procedures, so that when you decide if you to add somebody to help you out, then you know how much is in your ATM. You have a way to reconcile it down to the penny or down to the 20. How much is in my ATM? I put X amount in, and then you have to create those policies and procedures. There are two ways to do the ATM business. One is what we call ads, where you look in your ATM. It might have, let's say, $3,000, and you're just going to add another 2 or another 5 or whatever it is to the next time you come. And then the other way is to pull out the money, and you do cash swaps. One of the challenges in the ATM business uh, is the rejects. That is always a challenge in the ATM business, because sometimes an ATM might say there's three bills in a reject. Sometimes it says 4. Sometimes it doesn't say any, and there are some. And then what do I do with the rejects? Do I put the rejects back in the ATM? Do I count for rejects? How do I do it? Well, if you follow a easy procedure, you will know what to do. Now, if you decide to do a cash swap, that's where you're going to take the money out of the ATM, rubber band it up with the actual receipt, and this will give you 100% accountability. Now you say, okay, fine, I'm going to put the ATM to 5,000. There's maybe 43 bills, which is $860. Maybe you got 2 in the reject, so that's 45 is $900. So that's 900 total. So now I got 900 total. I'm bringing back. Or you can do is you can just count the money every time, count the money in rejects, count the money in total, your total amount money. Let's say it is that 900. Now you zero out the ATM, you put your whatever you're going to put in plus the 900, and there you go. I don't recommend, if you have a team member, I recommend you take that money out as your procedure. You bring it always back to the home office, wherever that home office is. If it's your home, or if you have an office, bring that back to the office and count that money. That way you have 100% transparency. But if you're doing it yourself, maybe you don't want to follow that procedure. But if you do that and you bring another team member out, you always have that accountability, and you know what's in your ATM. The other challenges is like, well, I got to give them the safe password. I don't necessarily want to do that. I got 15 ATMs. I got 20 ATMs. I don't feel vulnerable. Okay, well, obviously it's going to be somebody you have to trust, but you always put policies and procedures into what you do. It's the same as in your house. You have a lock. You have a lock on your front door. You have a lock on your back door. Doesn't mean somebody can't come in and rob you. They can just bust the window and come right in. Maybe you said, well, I'll put an alarm on. Okay, fine. So you put an alarm on. You got cameras. Still can get robbed. And the ATM business is the same way. If you hire somebody, but you have to put policies and procedures. You have to put, you have to have accountability with the policies and procedures. That's your extra lock. So even though you give somebody the key to the ATM, even though you give somebody the code to your ATM, you still have policies and procedures that allow 100% transparency. So you know if the ATM was gone into, if the ATM, if they put the money in the ATM, if the money was programmed, all these, you have to put all these procedures into place, and you have to reconcile. If you have a team member on a daily basis, you have to reconcile, because you never know when somebody's going to go in your ATM that maybe they shouldn't be. I've seen throughout my years of being in the ATM business, we've probably empowered over 500 people into the ATM business, and sometimes people get stolen by their own team members because they didn't do the things I'm talking about. They didn't reconcile. They didn't pay attention. They just gave the money out, and then all of a sudden their ATMs are short, and they're like, well, why is my ATM short? Because you didn't have policies and procedures to stop this. So what you have to do is, before you hire somebody, you have to create policies and procedures, and you have to understand how they work. So when you do go and you hire somebody, now you know what those policies and procedures are. You know how somebody can steal from you. Know how somebody can become your partner without you knowing. This is really important. And the way you do that is we set up the foundation. The foundation is policies and procedures. That's the first thing we do. Then the second thing we do is we figure out, well, how does somebody try to beat those policies and procedures? What does those red flags look like? Okay. And then how do I know what to look for? That's step number 2. Then step number 3 is, okay, now we're going to hire somebody. And then who do you hire? And then how does that look? And then what do I do? Sometimes people say, well, I'm going to cut them in and give them a percentage of stop. I do not recommend that. You don't want to partner. You've already invested your money into the ATM business. You've taken all the risk. However you did it, either you used somebody else's money or you borrowed money from you leverage your credit, your good name, whatever. If you went with friends and family, you went to the bank, however you got in the ATM business, you put it on a credit card, you leverage something to get into this business. That took a lot of risk. And now you want to give them an opportunity. Do not do that. Make them an employee. That's fine. What you want to do is you make them employed. And then how does that look? Well, I just want to let you know. Some people say, well, I'm going to give them a piece of the stop, or I'm going to have a guy find me, or a woman find me a location. I'm going to get them a piece of stop. Don't do that either. Give them tell them to find the stop, give them X amount of dollars. They're done. It's clean. Then they move on. Their job is to find the stop, not to live off your back and maintain the stop. Okay. Then the next thing you do is, okay, we have the policies, we have the procedures, we have somebody finding a stop or not, but they're not part of the deal. And then what happens is the next thing is now we're looking for somebody. And what I recommend is you go with somebody that, maybe there's and my recommendation is there's plenty of guys who, whatever they were, maybe they were retired police officers, retired fire guys, or they were retired military guys, or they were retired. The younger generation don't really have this, but in my generation, the thing to do was always to get a job at the local gas company, or the phone company, or the garbage company. Those were good jobs. Those were people that I looked to, and they retired early. They retired at 55, 60 years old. They were too young to really say, hey, I don't want to work anymore, but they were too old to really, they're like, I don't really want another full-time job, but I don't mind a part-time job. Those are the people that I look to do. I don't know if those people, I knew those people. It was a lot of friends of mine. They got done a little earlier. I'm 54. Maybe they're around 60. So they've been in, but even when I was younger, I knew those guys. I always hung around with an older crowd, and I was blessed by that. I had friends that are anywhere from 10 to 20 years older. So I always had a lot of people that I could go to, friends, stand-up people, honest guys that, hey, they want to make a little extra money, but they weren't looking for full-time work. They're looking for something, get out of the house, to do something. Maybe they were married, maybe they weren't married, but they just wanted to do something. And those are the kind of people that I always look for, guys that I knew that were retired. Plus, I was around a lot of bars and restaurants. There's always some of these guys, they hang out. I hate to say it, they hang out in the tavern because they didn't have nothing to do. And then they say, hey, Phil, you got something for me? You know somebody? Can you help me out? Sure. Yeah, I can use you. This is one where I need a guy. Can you help me? Can you work? Yeah, I can do the job. So I always had those people, and I always leveraged those relationships that I had. I'm a big relationship guy. Always leveraged the relationship when it came to building a team, when it came to getting locations, when it came to growing my business. I was blessed. I was just blessed by, I could make friends real easily. I knew a lot of people. And because of that, I had an opportunity to find not only locations, but I also found possible people that would work for me over the years. So that is how, I don't know how, I can only tell you how I did it. So those are the ways that I built team members. And then I always started looking, okay, what am I looking for? I'm looking for this. I'm looking for that, whatever it was. It might've been somebody for the office. It might've been somebody for service. It might've been somebody for vaulting. What kind of person am I looking for? And then I was on the search for, I'm going to use example. It's kind of like it's like, oh, I was looking for, I'm thinking Chevy Citation. You guys won't even know what that is, but I don't even think of Cavalier. I don't even know what the latest Chevy is right now. But we've been buying trucks for a long time. So, but let's, what is it? I don't even know. Let's just say, the latest, when you buy a car, whatever it is, let's say it's a Ford 150. Before I bought, and I don't have a Ford 150, I'm just using an example, but like it's a Silverado truck. When I was looking for, I didn't notice any Silverado trucks, and then all of a sudden we bought one, and now I see there's a lot of Silverado trucks on on the street. I never noticed them before. So my point is, when you're looking for something or you do something, then you'll see there'll be a lot of opportunities. So start looking for somebody, um, and you'll be amazed how many people are out there looking for a little, not something, because the ATM business is a nice business because you're constantly out and about, you're driving around, and it's nice. And there's a lot of people, they don't want to be in stuck behind, they don't want to be in an office, but they want something to do, and not very strenuous. ATM business is a pretty easy business for the right person. So that's how I recommend you build your team, and find out where some of the retired guys hang out. Maybe that is the local, maybe, and I live in I don't live in the city. So maybe if you live in some rural America, maybe you go down to your local VFW, become a member down there, or American Legion, or I don't even know if this applies to the whole country, but in my area, these are big clubs, American Legion, VFW, Moose Hall, AMVETS, those are big clubs, and there's a lot of retired guys that hang out there. They volunteer their time to help out with the club. Those are all good spots to find somebody. I'm not telling you to sit there and sling beer all day, but you know what? You might want to invest and go down there and see, and maybe make some friends on there. That could help out. For me, I didn't have to do that because again, I knew a lot of people. Or maybe join a local a bowling league, like go down there where they have senior day for the bowling alley or a golf course. Those are areas where there's some seniors that hang out, and you know what? There's a lot of guys. They're like I said, they retire early, 55 to 65 in there. They're still young. They want to do something, but they don't want a full-time job, but they want something, and that could help you out. So I'm a big advocate of those guys. And those places, if you're looking to build your team, as far as that's concerned, it's always a good, a good way to build a team. All right. So we're just checking to see if any questions. We got some people. Let's see. I'm going to just say join. All right. I'm going to say, let's see. Okay. Let's see. One thing I want on there. Okay. All right. So let's see what happened here. All right. So if we don't have any more questions, what I'm going to do, I'm just looking to see if we do have any more questions. And if we don't, then what we're going to do is we're going to end tonight. I just want to say thank you guys very much for joining. Again, my name is Phil from PDQ Merchant Enterprises and the ATM Mastermind Group page. We go live every other Monday at 6 Central Time. We talk about the ATM business. I usually have a topic. Next time I'm going to talk about, let me see what I'm going to talk about. We're going to talk, just going to kind of expand on what we talk. Find the right people to help you with your ATM business, train them and work together to make your business successful, and keep up with the ATM business laws and changes. One of the things we are talking about is still, we got the EMV upgrade. Visa and MasterCard has said that we have to have the latest greatest keypad by January 1 of 2025. And so right now we're still talking about that. I got a lot of people asking questions. Do I have to upgrade? Should I upgrade? What does it mean? Are they going to go my ATMs dark? As of today, I wouldn't say your ATM is going to go dark, but I will say that Visa could enforce the rule at any given time. They've laid out the deadline. I don't think they're going to, I talked to the Visa rep. They're not going to extend the deadline. Will they enforce the deadline? That is going to be something that will come as we get closer to the deadline, but I will guarantee 100%. Just like, and I want to tell you this story real fast is, when we did the liability shift and we had to go to EMV card reader, the date was October like 17, like October of 2017. Keep in mind, we're on 2024. And there was a group of people who said, I'm not going to do it. What do I care? Okay. Well, what the liability said is that the onus is now going to be not on Visa and MasterCard, but it's going to be on the ATM operator. And so there was, I would say out of our, at the time we had probably a little under 3,000 ATMs. And there was a bunch of people, I would say we upgraded not 99%, but there was a few here and there, store owned, operator owned, that they didn't upgrade. And all of a sudden 200, 300, all of a sudden these disputes came in. And the store owner said, well, what should I do? I said, well, you didn't upgrade. We told you to upgrade. Yeah, well, we weren't going to do that. Okay, well, now you're getting beat 200. You're getting beat $200 to $400 a month every month coming in. And then he said, well, this isn't right. It ain't fair. I said, well, we told you what was going to happen. We stressed to upgrade. You decided not to upgrade. And so they got beat. Okay, and this is going to be the same thing that's going to happen. Spend the money, upgrade your keypad. The keypad, keep in mind, if you got an older ATM, you're talking about 2014, the ATM is 10 years old. Invest some money or get a new ATM. But at the end of the day, this is going to be an issue for you guys going down the road. It might not happen today, might not happen tomorrow, but at some point it's going to happen, and you're going to have a choice to make. Either shut the ATM off or be or take the beating, whatever beating is going to come from Visa and MasterCard. So, or you know what? And the other thing is, processors started charging these guys, started charging them $25 a month for not being upgraded. So that was, the processors started pushing that. So that could happen again today. So please don't wait. I know not everybody has financial wherewithal. It's like, Phil, I got a bunch of ATMs. We've talked about this for 4 years. So just let you know, please take it seriously, because there will come a time when Visa will put the hammer down, or MasterCard will put the hammer down, and then you guys will be behind the 8 ball. Don't let it happen. I've seen it happen in 25 years that I've been in business. I've seen it happen every time. It didn't not happen every time where this happened. They said, this is the date. People said, yeah. And then a little way down the road, it might be 3 months, might be 6 months, might be 8 months. Things started happening. And when it did, people got hurt. And I don't want you guys to have that. So take my advice for whatever it's worth. Maybe, you know what, you're smarter than me and you're saying, nah, I'm not going to do it. Then don't do it. But just take it as a warning, because I've seen it happen before, and it's happened every time. And this is like about the third time that something like this has happened since I've been in the business. We went from single desk to double desk to triple desk. That was happened. We went from PCI compliance, and we went to EMV, and now we're at another PCI compliance. It's happened every time, and it's hurt every time that this happens. So, all right. So with that being said, I just want to let you guys know, thank you guys very much for watching the channel. Thank you guys very much for supporting our YouTube channel. We're almost at 475,000 views on our channel. You guys have been amazing. I hope there's value here for you guys. We've really tried over the 5 years we've been on YouTube to bring as much value as we can. If there's something that you want me to talk about, please put it in the chat. Please put it in the video. Please comment on the YouTube channel. I do take every comment seriously. I do value you guys. However many you guys comment, I'll return everything. And again, I'm just like you guys. I've been in the business. I don't have to say, oh yeah, I'm not selling a course and telling you I'm making millions, not being in the ATM business. I've been in the ATM business from the ground probably longer than almost anybody out there in the ATM world. I've been in it since the beginning. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys very much, and I will see you guys in 2 weeks. And as Auntie Val, who just got her PhD, is amazing. She's one of the nicest women I ever met. But shout out to her. But she would always say, "That's it. That's all," says the clock on the wall. Good night. Thank you guys very much.